I'd like to welcome everybody to the Southbridge Town Council meeting, Monday, May 19th, 2025, 7 p.m. McKinney Council Chambers. Agenda item number 1, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to agenda item number 2, roll call. Madam Secretary.
Councilor Lazo.
Present.
Councilor Montigny.
Present.
Councilor Chenier.
Present.
Councilor Daniel.
Present.
Councilor Dow.
Present.
Councilor Kelly.
Present.
Councilor Marchetti.
Present.
Councilor Ortiz.
Present.
And Councilor Rivas.
Present.
We have a quorum. Moving on to agenda item number 3. Consider and accept the meeting minutes of April 28th, 2025 and May 5th, 2025.
So moved. Second.
Motion to second. Any additions, corrections, or deletion to the minutes of that meeting? Councilor?
This says I was here, but that's when I had my car broken into. I wasn't.
Which?
April 28th.
April 28th? Could you amend that? Thank you. Are there any other additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 4, subcommittee reports. Department of Public Works, Councilor Chenier.
We had a meeting last week, and we'll have a favorable reports on all the agenda items dealing with the DPW as the night goes on.
Education and Human Services, Councilor Montigny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a meeting on the 8th to finish up the Southbridge Public School budget, and we have no meeting scheduled at this time.
General Government, Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, we have not had a meeting since our last town council meeting. However, we do expect to have one next week.
Moving on to Planning and Development, Councilor Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, we had a meeting on Monday, May 12th. There are 8 items on tonight's agenda that are being discussed, and another meeting is being planned for, I believe, early next week.
Moving on to Protections of Persons and Property, Councilor Dow.
Thank you, Chair, through you. We don't have a meeting in the past. We do have one scheduled next Wednesday, the 28th at 6:30.
Thank you. Moving on to Chairman's announcements. I would just like to comment on our Board of Health. I would like to thank Roland LaRochelle, Mr. Splain, and Ms. Canonas for their service. A couple of them are not renewing, and some have resigned, but there are residents that have dedicated their time to the Board of Health and have done a fine job for the town of Southbridge. And I'd like to let the public know that we're going to have 3 openings on the Board of Health, and we'll be looking for volunteers. Moving on to presentations. Are there any presentations tonight? Town manager's announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Town manager?
Thank you. Through you, just a reminder that the curbside collection of lawn and leaf debris will end next week, May 31st. After that, it will be the DPW facility will be open to collect those materials during regular operating hours as well as on Saturday morning afternoons as we did last year. I'd like to thank everybody that participated in the Beautify Southbridge event. I was told that I was unable to attend. However, it was very successful, and I'd like to thank Charlie and the cable department because they did put a video out of some of the activities, so we thank them for that. Reminded that the public hearing for the budget will be held next Thursday, May 29th at 6 p.m., and the budget adoption will be at 7 p.m. for the budget meeting. As Chairman Lazo stated, we do have several openings on the Board of Health, and we also have several openings on a variety of other committees. Very important committees. If you're interested, we did post that, but contact my office. We have openings on the Liquor Licensing Commission, Board of Health, Planning, or Economic Development Planning, and other committees. It's an opportunity for individuals to get involved in local government, and we welcome all viewpoints and input. And that's all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Moving on to Citizen Forum. Are there any citizens at this time that would like to address the Town Council on any issues not on the agenda? State your name and address. I know you're not new at this.
Yeah. Good evening. My name is David Langevin. I live at 800 Worcester Street. First of all, I want to say thank you for allowing us to speak. As sitting there before, I know how much time you guys give back to the community, and I respect your position and some of your decisions, but keep on moving Southbridge forward. I appreciate that. But the real reason I'm here tonight is we have a growing problem really across the country, state of Massachusetts. So I'm here right now. As our community ages, more of our seniors are finding it increasingly difficulty to afford stable and comfortable housing. Many of us have spent our lives contributing to the growth and the well-being of this town. But now, as we are transitioning into our senior years, in our so-called golden years, we are facing skyrocketing rent costs that are threatening our ability to live independently and with dignity. For us that are living on fixed incomes, even a modest increase in rent could mean choosing between basic necessities, medication, or housing. This is not just an economic issue, but it's a matter of fairness, compassion, and community values. I stand before you today and not just to raise awareness, but to urge action. I respectfully ask the council to consider exploring solutions to address the growing burden of housing costs on our seniors. I believe that with open dialogue, community input, and thoughtful planning, we can identify effective measures that reflect our shared values of compassion, security, and respect for all town residents. We owe it to our senior community to ensure that after a lifetime of hard work, they can enjoy security and the comfort they deserve without constant worry of being priced out of their homes. You know, we got a lot of people here, and there's more out there that came from TAG today, and there'll be a couple other speakers that there's a serious issue going there where basically their rent in the last 2 years has doubled. And most of those people, when they get to that stage, you know, you're in your 80s, 90s, 102 years old, shouldn't have to worry about where they're gonna live. It's just stress that they don't need. So I'm, as the Council on Aging Chairman, coming to speak before you and asking for some of your assistance in helping and working with the community and us to try to find out ways how we can move forward. I'm more concerned about our community, not others' communities right now. We have to take care of our own people, and we all know we're at crossroads with a lot of things going on in this country right now. But we have to decide what Southbridge is going to be, and we hear a lot, why not Southbridge? Southbridge first. And I believe that. So we're reaching out to you and see any which way we can get some help, because I'm sure, I mean, it starts here, but it goes up the ladder. So I just appreciate your time, understanding, and quite frankly, for some of the elderly, this is terrifying for them to speak before other people. So we have to be the voice for them. And I'm sure we could get more people, but even as they get older, they don't want to come out at this time of night. So I thank you for your time, and any support you can give us will be greatly appreciated. Thank you. And I do have one stat right now. I just checked downstairs. Currently, right now, we have about a population of 3,500 elderly people from basically like the age of 64, 65 up right now. So, I mean, we want everyone to live in this community, and a lot of people have lived in this community, but they want to reside and finish their lives in this community. So we're all climbing that ladder, whether we like it or not. So we have to take care of our own. But thank you for your time and consideration.
Dave Landry, I'd like to thank you for advocating for the elderly, and I want you to know that George Shinya has been a big voice on the council behind the scenes and has talked at the podium. This is almost a non-debatable issue. We're all on the same side on this one. I received a phone call from the representative, Marcy, the senator, and they are really, George really put it on the spot, a couple of meetings, and what's happening is, it wasn't too long ago we were the all-American city. We were building the high-rise for the elderly, building Dresser Park for the elderly. TAG was an elders project. Then all of a sudden, for some reason, I don't see those dollars rolling the way they used to, and the housing being built the way it used to. With all the things that we're dealing with, I still think elderly housing is probably the top priority with veterans homes, which Mr. Adams, former Councilor Adams, is on it with the veterans groups. And I know that Representative Marcy is also on this, and he wanted to do a joint press conference and everything. I said, wait a minute, let's get some results and some answers before you put on a show. Because you can have a lot of meetings, you can have a lot of hot air, but the thing is, when you have substance in Boston that can deliver something to help the elders, that's what we're about. And that is Southbridge First. Our elders are at the top of the list. But I mean, it is in the forefront. I give you a lot of credit for advocating. Councilor Shinya has advocated for the elderly, and I think that's what's going to spur this forward at the state level.
Yeah. And I give credit to Councilor Shinya. He's been coming to all our meetings and stuff like that, and that's what started this conversation. And I agree. I've been on the phone with the state rep and stuff, and this is just step one right here, meeting with you guys, and then we can slowly keep on building there. But we say slowly, but we have to try to pick up as fast as they are, because they're worried every night of where they're going to sleep. Thank you for your time.
Thank you again, Mr. Landry.
Good evening.
State your name and address.
Renata Kendall, and I live at 20C Therese Avenue. And I'm usually not used to speaking, but I figured I looked at everybody and I said, I'm among friends here, so it's nothing to be nervous about. I'm a resident for 13 years in Lebanon Hill Housing, and which is known in the town as TAG. I don't think it's ever going to be a different name. And on March 5th, the property was sold for the third time in 3 years to a private entity. We all expected there would be some increase in rent, but after receiving our notices, many of us were shocked and even in tears. There are 21 Section 8 voucher apartments, and the usual 30% portion of the rent is now 55%, which leaves many of us, including me, with virtually nothing to live on. The other residents are facing a $700 and $800 rent increase, with many not even receiving enough Social Security benefits to cover the rent. The majority of residents are elderly. There's a whole group that came tonight. They're in their 80s, 90s. We even have one at 102 with no means to pay the rent and no place to go. This has been their home for many years, and now they're facing eviction. I've been on the phone for the entire last week, trying to cover. I called Boston, I called representatives, and we're at this point now. When we got the notice, I said, I'm not going down not facing this. We have to fight this. This is not fair to people that are here, that have had a home for many years, expected to leave, probably on the stretcher, and now all of a sudden they can't pay the rent. $1,650 for an apartment, going up $700 is more than most of these people are getting in Social Security. And where are they going? I had one person stop me at Big Bunny and said, crying, she said, don't even have the money for a move. I can't pay the first and last, I cannot pay the mover. I don't have that kind of money. And so I'm urging you to really, really address this. And I know you have been with Representative Marcy. I talked to him, he's been very helpful. Tri-Valley, they have a legal department, and they've been trying to help, but like I said, we're really, really desperate. You can hear it in my voice. I don't have enough money to live. And we understand these people that bought the place, they have to pay a mortgage, there's no doubt about it, but they didn't take into consideration the large amount of elderly people that live there. And they live on a fixed income. They can't go and say, oh, I take up a part-time job. So this is urgent, and I hope by us being all here, you can understand how important it is for all of us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi. I was told to lower this. My name is Bonnie Lynch. I live at 17C Therese Avenue, Southbridge. I, too, am a resident at Lebanon Hill Senior Housing when I moved in 4 years ago. I am not on a voucher, so I have to pay the total amount of rent. We've had 3 different owners, as you heard, and now this is no longer senior housing, and we no longer have a year lease. It is a month-to-month rent. It can go up any amount at any time. Now we have people of all ages moving into the complex, which is going to get interesting, I'm sure. And I understand my rent will be increasing 73% this year to $1,650. My Social Security is between $1,500 and $2,000 a month. I have a car payment, I have car insurance. If my rent increases, how do I pay for food and my medical? I don't have the first and the last month's rent to be able to move to another apartment, although the apartments in Southbridge are probably the same as what we're getting into at the senior house at where I live. So this increase is a hardship for me, and I thought I'd live here to the day I die with reasonable rent increasing, but not 73%, which is $700 at one shot. So thank you so much for listening. I think I'm going to end up with my son-in-law and my daughter. I hope you don't have to have somebody move in with you. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Ted Bartlett. I live at 655 Dennison Drive here in Southbridge, and I'm the vice chairman. I first heard of this when Councillor Chenier announced it at the May 12th meeting. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It seems as though that the Council on Aging had to do something. This is why you are going to have us as speakers tonight, and hopefully we'll be able to address this problem. It so happens that this new ownership decided to not even send a formal letter, I understand, but simply post the announcement on the doors that the rent was going to go up $700 a month for everyone, that it was given only a 30-day notice. Do you interpret that as an eviction from that point after 30 days? That's what struck me. A 30-day notice doesn't give much time to do anything, and in their circumstances, it's nearly impossible. Many of them do not have relatives nearby, and if they do, it might be just nieces and nephews at this point. This past Saturday, I encountered at least 4 people at the 4 o'clock Mass at Notre Dame at St. John Paul II Parish who stopped me and talked to me about the situation. And I hope they're listening in tonight because they said they didn't think they'd be able to make the visit here tonight. But they were appalled. One woman said, she says, I am the last one of my family, and I have distant nieces and nephews. She says, I don't know what to do. I can't afford to move. I have to consider that the rent will be maybe higher than what this is, but this takes away all the income that I have extra after I pay the rent. So we all got together at the Council on Aging meeting that we had on the 13th of May at the Senior Center. And the topic of our meeting was basically the problem, the Lebanon housing elderly crisis. And we came to somewhat of a consensus that we had to do something beyond just, hopefully it would change without too much effort, but I don't see it to take that easy route, unfortunately. So the consensus was that we probably should advise the council, the elected representatives that we have, the town manager, possibly an attorney as well, and make a dialogue, create a dialogue with these new owners with the hope that they would realize that there was no compassion, no fairness, no goodwill, wiping out an elderly housing project that's been in existence for so long and has helped so many people to finish their lives there, to face this now. So we come to you and we hope that you will be able to meet the minds who initiated this turnover of property and come to some resolution that will be agreeable, even if they have to do an increment. There was one last year, was it, for $300? They raised the rent. It wasn't the same owners, and there was a lot of feedback on that. But now it's reached a point when you double the amount that was done last year, it doesn't make any sense at all. And Southbridge is suffering from this because we have limited housing for the elderly. And I know that it's across the state, and you keep hearing this over and over again. And I only hope it gets resolved because there's no point in letting it go as it is. By chance, on Thursday of last week, on May 15th, the health and wellness event was held at the community center, and by chance, several of the members of the Council on Aging were able to speak to Representative John Marcy, who represents Southbridge in Boston at the State House. He had heard a little bit of the situation but didn't have enough information, and we managed to give him as much as we could at that point in time. I believe at one point he must have had about 5 people around him giving him information of the situation. So in closing, and the chairman, David, has also pointed out that the population back in, well, I know when Mike Trombley was a director of the seniors, he had given the figure as 3,265 seniors. That's back in 2019, and that was carried over until the recent census, which I had called Boston to find out the figure, and it deviated a little what Maddie, our town clerk, had given me. Boston gave me 4,005, and I repeated it because it was an odd figure. So it's probably what David alluded to, 3,500 to probably 4,000 senior citizens in Southbridge, 60 or 65 and over, handicapped as well, and veterans too. So I really, really hope that we can straighten this out in short order, perhaps not, but I know that some people have already moved, And the new owners already renovated some of the empty apartments already, so we know that it will no longer be a senior citizen facility. Unfortunately, we can only hope. And I know that these ladies are very concerned because they live there. And Renata was very, very right. She's been the real spokesperson of all the people, I think, who live there and face the disadvantage every day. So I thank you for taking the time and the consideration to hear us, and I hope there's a good future to come. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sharon, and I work at Tri-Valley in Dudley. We were contacted by Renata last week to start getting information on what's been going on over at the housing. We are very concerned. We're here to help. We're here to work with everyone. We do not provide housing, but we can help with resources and help them try to navigate through this as best we can. There's a lot of concerns about the affordability. We all know that there is limited housing anywhere near here, and we're here to help. We've also been in touch with Representative Marcy's office as well, and we're working with him, and we're here to help if we can work together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. David Adams, 1023 North Woodstock Road, right here in beautiful Southbridge. So first of all, I want to thank Councilor Chenier for bringing this up and pushing it hard, and the Council on Aging and all the wonderful seniors that are out here tonight. Thank you. So, as many of you know, last meeting, I brought a memo up here. It's 5 pages of helping veterans in their property taxes. So far, I haven't heard anything. I've had a couple councilors call me, but I have yet to receive a phone call, and it's been 2 weeks now. And I've been dealing with this since August. So, that being said, what I worry about is if it's happening to me, it's probably happening to the seniors as well. So here's some options for the town council. First of all, I want to address the seniors when it comes to rental. There's a phone number, 211, that can help out a little bit, but you have to qualify, right, for assistance, like the RCAP, Tri-Valley. Amazing. I work with them, with the veterans all the time, and seniors as well in Oxford. You have all these areas in which can help out a little bit, but you have to qualify. And that means I see seniors coming in with $600 of Social Security every single month, and then we have to get the Social Security to be reevaluated. This is what they're going through at this point in time. My wife, Natalie, who is actually watching tonight from Maryland, she was part of the Council on Aging, and her and I have talked a lot about the elders. One day, if not already, we're there. I will tell you this, there's a lot that the town council can do. First of all, you have clauses within the town for property owners. You can double that within the next 2 weeks. It's not a lot of money for the clauses for elderly. Again, qualified. You could take CBDG money as well and help out. You can actually set up an account where it helps with rental assistance through free cash. There's a lot of things that we can do. And I appreciate that Councilor Chenier has brought it up, and we've had long conversations about this. And I'm glad John Marcy, our representative, is doing a bang-up job trying to listen and help. But I think the town council can do this. It doesn't take the citizens. I'm very proud of all the seniors being here because I know how much it is just to get up here and speak. But the town council could do that in 2 weeks before the budget hearing. They can change the local option. You could turn it up to 100%, and some of these people will go from $500 to $1,000. You could put something in there for next year as far as the free cash is concerned to help out the seniors as well. Obviously, there has to be a policy. There has to be guidelines in place. But the town council, our town council could do that now. They can start talking about it at the general gov meetings and having discussions. So I'd ask the town council to move forward as fast as possible to try to help out. If it can't be this year, then it should be something to be looked at for next year as well and move forward with it. But I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight and the town council for listening. Thank you.
the two representatives from Tri-Valley are here and have made an announcement to you. And I am also associated with Tri-Valley. I'm on the executive board, and so is Virginia Rappo. We're both on the executive committee, and I'm sitting in as the first vice president. We're going to do as much as we can as well. Mr. Rivenite, again.
Having a hard time with all this. I have a nerve disease.
I'm Celeste Rivenite. I'm Bill's wife. We're here because we don't know what we're going to do. My husband is a veteran. He's had major problems lately with his health, and our rent is going to go up $800 a month. How does anybody think that we can do that? We can't. And with him being sick, he has a disease that he's just been diagnosed with. He just got over cancer. We have all of that to deal with, along with this $800 rent increase. We've been there for 8 years. We love it. We just have a nice place for ourselves. We even put money into it because we wanted to stay there until we passed away. But now it doesn't look like it's happening. And we have no place to go. We have a daughter that can't take us in. We have a son that has 7 people living in his house right now because his daughter left her baby's daddy because he was mean to her, abusive. I have that to deal with also. And this is a major problem for both of us, along with all the others here. And I beg you to try to do something for us and for the older people that, you know, I work at Marshall's. I work part-time. I'm 80 years old. I'm going to have to work the rest of my life in order to try to pay this increase in rent. We won't be able to eat. We won't be able to pay our car and our insurance. What are we going to do? There's nowhere we can go right now. We can't move with his condition like he is. I can't move. I've got enough on my plate that I just can't do it. So we don't know what we're going to do. And I cry just about every day about it, like some of these people here. He can't even talk because he's so upset. And he's got this new disease that he's been diagnosed with. It's myasthenia gravis. And it affects the muscles and the nerves. He will never be able to walk without a walker or a cane. Most likely the walker, because he was never diagnosed in time. So this is what we're going through, and so many other people the same thing. I hear people, they come to Marshall's and they cry to me, and they talk about their finances, and they cannot live on what they're making. These people, they should have known before they bought this place what they would have had to do with the elderly and hurt these people so bad. It's a good thing I don't see them, because they'd have to put me in jail because I'd really give it to them. And I wrote them a letter begging them and telling them what not. I wasn't fresh, I wasn't irate. I just told them how we felt and what we were going through. And why did they buy this place if they knew that they would have to do this to the elderly? Why? You know? So what we're going through is not easy. As a matter of fact, it's terrible, terrible. So I just want to say thank you for listening, and please do your best in trying to help us out. Not only us, but the rest of the people that live there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I come before you tonight as a citizen of Southbridge and as a resident of 23 Teresa Ave. I think this tonight has opened eyes up to some councils that had doubts or what to do. For a long time, I felt that there was nothing we can do until I read a book and they talked about the grease goes on the squeaky wheels. That's why they're here tonight, because they're the squeaky wheels that isn't working for them. They're leaving their homes. They're going to become an exodus of homeless elderly in this community that we've never, ever seen. We have never, ever seen what's going on now in housing for the elderly. We have never seen it, so we can't expect you to know how to fix it. We need to work together as a team. It's a shame, 80 years old working a job. My neighbor's, I think, 78 years old. She works 40 hours a week to be able to pay her bills because she gets a very small Social Security. For me, my son's going to spend $70,000 for me to go into a home that I can afford and that we'd be safe at. It's a shame when you have to have family do that when these people pay taxes their whole lives. So I'm asking you, as not only as a citizen of this community, but as a member of council, to maybe we can strategize with the town manager, the chair, maybe the council on aging, and with the state rep, with our senator, and meet face to face with them, not with their aides. Let them see this firsthand, what it's like. This is the first time this has happened in Southbridge, and it's not just the elderly population, it's all the way down the line. So I ask for your consideration to be able to work hard on this, and let's keep this thing moving so we can help these people sooner than later. And I'd be wrong to tell you this, but let them evict you. Go through the eviction process. If there is a judge out there in their right mind's not going to kick out an 80-year-old or a 102-year-old lady out of their apartments. And that's what I would suggest you do if you're not seeing any results. Don't pay the rent. Let them go through the eviction process. Sometimes civil disobedience helps also. So that's what I would suggest. Push comes to shove. Don't pay the rent. Let them evict you. And hopefully Tri-Valley and all the senior services can come forward and help you all. And I want to thank you tonight for coming.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, George Shinya, for advocating.
Mr. Chairman, could I just say one little thing real quick?
Just keep in mind it's Citizens Forum. Go ahead.
Okay. Councilor Adams is correct. You can use CDBG money in emergency situations to help people out so they don't get evicted, and I would suggest we go that route. Thank you.
Just to add, Councilor Shinya started approximately, had to be about 6 or 8 weeks ago when it got sold and things started falling. And I want you to know that nobody is sleeping at the wheel. Mr. Shinya is like a massive thorn in the side of everybody on the elderly housing issue, and that's why in came the rep, we're talking about it, and you being here matters. When you have advocates like Dave Langevin and George Shinya, people like that, and you come to a meeting like this, it does matter. And we are listening, and we will do something about it going forward. My heart breaks for some of the stories that we hear here tonight, but I want you to know that we are going to do whatever we can for the elderly housing in Southbridge. It's long overdue. Boston is sleeping. They used to advocate and send money to the communities for elderly housing, not all the other housing that they provide for migrants and for mentally challenged and for minorities and whatever. The elderly seem to be overlooked in the big picture. They're not on the stage with the rest of the needy groups, so to speak. And I question some of those needy groups. But moving forward, I just want you to know, with Councilor Shinny on this council, things will get done. We will move forward. We're going to be in contact with our elder services and stuff like this. Let's see what we're worth as a community. We say Southbridge first, you're Southbridge. We will put you first. Thank you. I'd like to take a 5-minute recess. 5-minute recess. Thank you. Okay, if no citizens at this time, moving on, agenda item number 9, vote to confirm the town manager's appointment of Bonnie McDonald to the Conservation Commission effective immediately through June 30th, 2027, pending completion of state ethics training.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is second. Discussion? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, the P&D Subcommittee voted unanimously to move this forward.
Unanimous at P&D. Town Manager?
Thank you. It's my pleasure to appoint and ask you to confirm the appointment of Bonnie McDonald to the Conservation Commission. Ms. McDonald had provided an application for a variety of committees and came in and met with me. After further discussion, she expressed an interest in the Conservation Commission. I do know that she attended the first meeting the other evening, which was a rather lengthy meeting with a lot of issues on it, and afterwards I asked her if she was still interested, of which she said she was, so I'd welcome her to that board. It's always nice to have a different viewpoint and somebody with experience to take that position, and I thank her for stepping up.
Bonnie McDonald, would you like to say something to the council? Could you please come up to the podium?
No, I just want to say thank you. I look forward to the next 3 years of being on the Conservation Commission and serving the town of Southbridge.
Are there any questions by council? Council Dow.
Thank you, Chair, through you. Thank you for coming forward and help with the town.
Thank you.
Any other
Appreciate
discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to agenda item number 10, vote to confirm the town manager's appointment of Robert Lamoth as the Director of Public Works for the 3-year term effective July 1, 2025, pending successful completion of all employment requirements.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Councilor Shinya.
This was unanimously approved by the subcommittee at Wednesday, May 14th meeting.
It was unanimous at subcommittee. Robert Lamoth, would you like to approach the podium and see if the council has any questions? Any council have any questions at this time? Councilor Marquetti.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say I watched the meeting and I liked what I heard from the candidate. It was good to hear somebody talk right away about the roads. That seems to be his priority. And I'm glad to hear that because in the past we've had a lot of DPW directors who talked a lot about the roads but didn't do anything about the roads. And but like my father always told me, if you don't like the horse you're riding, saddle another one. So we got another one here, and I hope we'll see how fast he is. So, thank you.
I plan on retiring here.
Any other comment? Councilor Rivas.
Thank you through you. I also watched the meeting, and I appreciate all of your comments. And earlier this morning, we heard from residents about a lot of the smaller roads, and I liked some of your ideas that you talked about. So I look forward to seeing the progress that will be made in town. Thank you.
Any other comment by any of the councils? Councilor Shinya.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I've known Mr. Lamoth most of my whole life. I know his family. His father was a retired police officer from our town and worked up at the hospital for a long time. But I've known Mr. Lamoth through most of my life. Seeing his resume, I realized I didn't really know him because his resume that he put forward to the town is outstanding, and I look forward to working with him as the next DPW director.
Are there any other comments by any of the councils? Councilor Montague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to say thank you for putting your name forward. I really appreciate when Southbridge people are interested in working, and I'm glad that the town manager's vetting process with HR was able to come up with somebody from town. And thank you for coming back to be a part of our Southbridge First movement. Thank you.
Any other questions by councils? If not, just a quick comment. Robert Lamoth landed in Southbridge. He came back home. He was working out in New York. He amassed a fantastic job application and qualifications that were second to none. After the interviews and talking with the town manager, we knew that this gentleman was the right man for the job, and he needed to go through council, subcommittee, and the process. But the thing is, as I always say, you can take the boy out of Southbridge, but you can't take the Southbridge out of the boy. Welcome home. Nice to see you back on Jennison Street. Any
Margaret
other
Street.
comments?
It's close. Next street over. I appreciate it. I thank you for your vote of confidence.
All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous of all present.
Thank you
are now
very much.
appointed.
I look forward to work
Congratulations.
with every single one of you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I'm sure you'll be hearing from all the councilors. Okay, moving on to 11, vote to approve the payment of $10,000 stipend to the DPW Operations Manager, Peter Provencher, for the additional duties performed during FY25 due to the vacancy of the Deputy DPW Director positions and assistance to the part-time interim DPW Director.
So moved.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Councilor Shinya?
Yes, Mr. Chair, this was unanimously approved at the May 14th DPW committee meeting.
It was unanimous at subcommittee. Any discussion? Councilor Marquetti, then Dow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I feel that this stipend is a little excessive, and as a Southbridge taxpayer on a fixed income, I'm just not feeling that generous, so I won't be supporting it. Thank you.
Councilor Dow.
Thank you, Chair, through you. I just want to say something about Peter. He's a hard worker. He handled a DPW department well, and I think the position he took in cover for other, he saved the town a lot of money as well. And he's out there, like I say, at a meeting last week. He sit in a truck with a plow and sanders, and he drive around, and if he sees something, it need to be a little bit clean up here or slippery here, he's not sitting behind the office, or another truck doesn't have any equipment and he directed the guy. He worked like everybody else. He go ahead and do it himself, get the job done. I believe this guy, the 10,000, he works more. We appreciate his work and all his teamwork for the town of Southbridge. Thank you.
Any other discussion? I just would like to comment that working out of grade, it's been common practice to stipend. What that magic number is usually judged by how long a period of time and how much the value of the position that he was covering. So I think that that's been recommended by the manager. The subcommittee is unanimous, and that's why it's in front of us here tonight. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? One opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to 12. Vote to A, authorize the town manager to acquire by purchase, gift, eminent domain, or otherwise, the fee to and/or permanent and/or temporary easements for the public way purposes, including without limitation for the construction, alteration, installation, maintenance, improvement, repair, replacement, and a relocation of right-of-ways, bridges, sidewalks, drains, utilities, driveways, guardrails, slope grading, sound landscaping, and other amenities and/or facilities to enable the town to undertake the Central Street, Foster Street, Hook Street, and Hamilton Street reconstruction project, and for any and all purposes incidental or related thereto in, on, and under certain parcels of land and land adjacent to and within 200 feet of said parcels. Said parcels shown more particularly on plans entitled Plan of Land in Southbridge, Massachusetts. Revised through January 30th, 2025, prepared by VHB Incorporated as said plans may be amended and/or incorporated into an easement plan. B, raise the appropriate transfer from available funds and/or borrow the sum of $280,000, I'm sorry, hold on a second, I got a mark over here, $285,600 to fund the foregoing and any and all costs incidental and related thereto, including without limitation to cost of the land easement acquisitions. And further, C, authorize the town manager to enter into all agreements, including and to execute an order of taking and to take any and all actions as may be necessary or appropriate to the effectuate of their foregoing purposes.
So move.
Second.
There's a motion and a second.
Chair, I gotta exclude myself from that.
Council Dow excuses himself. Council Shinya.
Yes, this was unanimously approved by the subcommittee on the May 19th meeting.
Discussion. Councilor Rivas, then Councilor Marquetti.
I just had a quick question. I did watch the meeting, and I had a quick question for Peg on Los Hermanos Market. Oh, okay, sorry. Quick question for Peg on Los Hermanos Market. I know that in the meeting, it was talked about that all of the property owners were notified. I didn't know if there was, the letter that was sent to them was translated, or if there was someone that interpreted the information. I know we've talked to them before about other projects, just because I gave them a call, but I didn't get to talk to the owners.
So Esteban and Angela are fully aware of the project. We've met with them twice with the engineer. And so everything's been very clear.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilor Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't want this to go on too long. I just was curious why we are taking all this land. I know they're fixing the road, but are they expanding the road out this way that they have to take the land? I don't know if that can give me a quick answer or not,
Yes,
but
there are certain areas, especially around 100 Central Street, where the sign is adjacent to the rail trail, so there's that's probably the largest portion that we're taking. Then we're rounded some corners on Central Street by Center of Hope and the old water supply building. So there are some lands that we have to take into effect, so yes, there are some
but even on Hamilton Street, where it's like you're just repairing the road, I didn't know are you expanding the road out
for the
this
sidewalks or whatever we have to put in,
Okay.
we have to expand.
And there's I thought that all the money was already granted for this.
We appropriated $245,000, but then after the appraisals came in, we were short $40,000, so that's why we have the transfer on the next.
And no grants cover any of this.
No.
I know, we have almost $1 million, right?
What's that?
For this whole project. I thought it was something close to that.
The right-of-way assessments were all something that we had to pay for. We had to pay for the acquisition of the land from the town.
Okay.
So that's our portion. We're also going to have to come back next month to appropriate $1 million for the water portion of the repairs through the water stabilization, either or the retained earnings for our portion of that.
But I thought we got some money from.
We do have a substantial amount of federal money that's being used.
Didn't Neil's office give us money for Hamilton Street, which I don't know if that's going to happen now, so that wasn't for this at all?
No, the Hamilton Street, the raise grant that we got, that's totally separate from this project.
We can't shift that over to this?
We're still in a holding pattern on whether we're going to receive that money.
Okay.
Hopefully we can. We haven't been told that we're not going to get it, but we're still trying.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Peg Dean?
Yeah, just quickly, so the $1 million is a rough estimate of the design we have paid for, plus the right-of-way expenses in total to date. And with regards to the takings, some locations where, for instance, the new kidney bean will go at Hamilton, Hook, Lock, or Shell there, that was supposed to actually be a larger taking, but they did all they could to preserve, for instance, Country Farms. So those takings were actually less than what was originally proposed. And then, like the manager said, that La Rochelle, that new cut through of La Rochelle will be a large portion of that.
All right. I thought we owned part of that.
Councilor Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. So my understanding is that the landowners who are affected by this, they've all been notified? And do we have any of the landowners raising any objections at this point?
No.
Okay. And when were they notified? I'm sorry, I think that information was
Those letters
provided.
went out probably about 2 months ago, approximately?
Correct. We legally had to give them 30 days' notice. We sent out a letter of intent saying the appraisers were going to be out at their properties. Once the appraisals were done, appraisals are not allowed to be released to the public, but what's called a just compensation report is provided to each individual, and that's sent out with time for them to review, the 30 days to review. We had lots of phone calls, lots of meetings between the engineer and the owners to ensure people were satisfied.
We did, if I may, we did receive feedback from a lot of landowners, and I thank Peg, because Peg had to coordinate all this between our legal and all the landowners, because you had to keep meticulous logs of every question that was asked, who contacted her office and all that. So it was a very thorough process to make sure that everything was recorded properly.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present? Do you need a roll call vote on that?
Do you need a roll call vote on that for the, could you do a roll call vote just in case?
Could we do a roll call vote to cover that?
Councillor Shenyer?
Yes.
Councillor Daniel?
Yes.
Councillor Dow stepped out. Councillor Kelly?
Yes.
Councillor Lazo?
Yes.
Councillor Marquetti?
Yes.
Councillor Montigny?
Yes.
Councillor Ortiz?
Yes.
Councillor Rivas?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you list Joe Dow as...
Councillor Dow?
He's recused.
He's recused.
Recused, thank you. Yep. Okay. 8, yes.
Unanimous of all present. Moving on to number 13, vote to approve and transfer $40,600 from the fund number 0842 capital stabilization to project account number 64611 TIP construction and the acquisition cost row to find the cost of the easements and the property acquisitions for the TIPS project.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion. If there's no discussion, roll call.
Councillor Daniel?
Yes.
Councillor Dow? Recused. Councillor Kelly?
Yes.
Councillor Lazo?
Yes.
Councillor Marquetti?
Yes.
Councillor Montigny?
Yes.
Councillor Ortiz?
Yes.
Councillor Rivas?
Yes.
And Councillor Shenyer.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to agenda item number 14, vote to amend the motion of the town council adopted at the town council meeting January 27, 2025. Agenda item 11, vote to authorize the town and airport commission to proceed with applying for a grant through the Mass Department of Transportation Aeronautical Division, Mass DOTAD, and Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, for the design and construction of a new 6-unit T-hangar at an estimated cost of $1,384,418, with an estimate cost to the town of Southbridge of $83,844. Town match for project to be funded through the Airport Revolving Fund number 80390. Authorize the town manager to execute all grants and contracts associated with the hangar project.
No,
I got to read the next one, guys. So that it reads, we're going to change it to what I'm going to read next. This was the amended version because something came in late. Vote to authorize the town and the airport commission to proceed with applying for the grant through Mass Department of Transportation Aeronautical Division, Mass.Ad, and the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, for the design and construction of a new 6-unit T-hangar at the cost of $1,698,800, with a matching cost to the town of Southbridge in the amount of $157,573, to be funded through the airport revolving fund number 80390 in the amount of $83,844, and the remaining balance of the money, $739.20, to be funded through the capital stabilization program. Authorize the town manager to execute all grants and contracts associated with the hangar project.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilor Shinnick.
To the town manager, does he have an explanation of why we went up 200,000?
Yes, this was a result of the bid. So when that first motion was prior to the bids, we received the bids. I attached the bids in your packet. You should have them. So the apparent responsive low bidder was P&P General Contractors at $1.698 thousand. And of that, there's an additional cost for the design. So approximately we're about $500,000 over on the whole construction project. We, with the Airport Commissioner, Rick Clements, had many conversations with the FAA and Mass DOT regarding the delta on that. And we had simply told them there was no way, that whole $500,000 would have been on the town's dime with no additional funding. And we told them simply that we would not be able to fund $500,000. So after conversations with the FAA had come out and said that they would be willing to, because the grant covers 2 fiscal years, that we could use the same fiscal year, that same grant over 2 fiscal years, and the way we're going to allocate the monies. That left us a change of another $200,000, and we told the FAA, or the Mass DOT, we do not have $200,000 to spend on this. There's absolutely no way we're going back to the town for $200,000. They came back, originally had stated that they had other projects in the chute, didn't think they could help, and we said, okay, then we're scrapping the program. We were going to try to change it to design only, just have the design, but then we would have lost $150,000 in our capital improvement program out of the FAA funds. They then came back and said, we will pick up the $228,960 out of their pocket, leaving us to just match our 5%. So overall, this is a $1.7 million hangar that's going to generate additional revenues to the town for what I see as short dollars. We do also have next in the queue, there are 2 other entities that want to lease land from the airport and build additional T hangars, which again would drive out revenue for the airport.
Thank you for your explanation.
Councilor Dow.
Thank you, Chair, to you, to the town manager. Isn't it, he said last time the money is coming from the airport account, we're not touching any tax or anything from...
So the airport revenue, the $83,000 is just about all the money they have in their revolving fund. I did put in the capital stabilization, depending on when we build it, and if they build up a different revenue, there's potential that number could go down. But in order for me to sign the contract, I wanted to put in that it would be through the capital stabilization. So there may be additional revolving funds, but we're running on a tight margin right at the moment. So we'll see how it goes with the revolving fund for that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any further discussion by council? Could I have a roll call vote on this?
Absolutely. Councilor Dowd.
Yes.
Councilor Kelly.
No.
Councilor Lazo.
Yes.
Councilor Marquetti.
Yes.
Councilor Montigny.
Yes.
Councilor Ortiz.
Yes.
Councilor Rivas.
Yes.
Councilor Shenier.
Yes.
Councilor Daniel.
Yes.
Motion passes.
8 to 1, yes.
Moving on to 15. Vote to approve entering into an agreement for a community development block grant, funded housing rehabilitation deferred payment loan contract between the town and the property owners in the amount of $94,800,000. Oh, I got that wrong.
$94,000.
I'm sorry, $94,800 for the de-letting and repairs, $9,300 for the roofing, and allow the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and second, discussion. Councilor Daniels?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, the P&D Subcommittee voted to move this forward unanimously.
Any further discussion? Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, I realize because of privacy issues, you can't give the name and you can't give the address, but I did hear Ms. Dean say at the meeting that this was a multi-unit building, which means that there's rentals going on there. So if the person who is getting this loan, do they live in this building? First of all, that's my first question. And if they're collecting rent, how does that make them low income? If you're collecting rent, with the way the rent is nowadays, I find it hard to believe that they would be low income.
Hi, I'm Sue Starkey, the CDBG coordinator, and the owners of the property are each funded for this project. There isn't any rental property there. If they are renting, they do have to, they sign an agreement beforehand, it's already in place, to say that they will follow the low to moderate income guidelines and limitations, and that those limitations include limits to the amount of the rental increases that might happen each year. So the answer is that it will still protect low-income residents.
And they do live there at the property?
It is a property owner program with the property owner are the only people in residence.
The question is, do they live there? That's all. Do they live at that property that you're fixing up?
To qualify, they have to. Thank you.
That's correct, yeah? So
Right.
the answer is yes, they do live there.
At this present time, there are 2 units. Both of them are owned by the residents of the owners, and there's nobody else that lives there.
Okay. And what fiscal year for CDBG is this coming out of?
Fiscal year 22-23.
All right, thank you.
Councilor Shinnick?
I have a little difficulty with this. Do you know what the medium income is allowed to charge for rent on this particular apartment?
No.
Do you know what the medium income is, what is required, but that they can't go any higher should they want to rent it?
Sure.
So having to be as confidential as possible, Sue's in a bit of a quandary, right? She's trying to be tactful here. Just to give a quick overview of the program, before Sue came on, Katie Yoder was the block grant coordinator, and she income qualified everyone who's now getting their projects underway. To income qualify, you have to take into consideration their incomes, whether they are from paychecks, rents, whether they have some kind of investments. You take those, you make sure they all fall within the low, moderate income, and then you qualify them. There were some people who did not qualify, some people who do. And so you have to rest assured that anyone who's coming before you has been qualified based on whether they get income or not, that they still fall under the low, moderate income amount.
So, but my concern is that we're giving money to fix an apartment up that potentially we could take a low-income person out of that apartment and bring in a medium-income person, such as what's happening at the TAG.
That is allowed, but there aren't any rented properties or units at this property.
You didn't hear what I said. In the event that the person should turn that into a rental apartment, right now it's not a rental apartment technically because 2 owners live on each floor, I would assume. The owners of the property each live in the building and take an apartment at each place. Am I correct?
I'm not answering the question about specifics that identify people, but I am saying that there aren't rental properties, and they would have to tell us if they did rent a property or turn the property over. If they turn the property over to somebody else, they wouldn't be eligible for the deferred loan. They would have to pay the loan back. If they rent it out to somebody, they have to follow those guidelines from the state that keeps it at a low or moderate income level that's affordable according to the state guidelines.
I
So
still have difficulty
it's-
to the fact that we're going to take town money that's been, fix up an apartment that could potentially be rented and fix up the apartment for the landlord to make money. Later
No.
on, a year from now, they decide to move out of there and they take over the apartment and want to rent it
They
to.
can't charge a rent that's above what's allowed, the level set by the state. It has to stay a low or moderate income rent.
So I'm asking you what that number is.
I don't have the rent value right in front of me. I don't know whether Peg
Sue,
can
can
look
I
it
ask
up.
it in a different manner?
Yep,
If we're giving the money to this apartment building, there are criteria tied to it.
right.
In other words, if they change something in the agreement of rented higher, they would have to pay back, or if they gave the building to say somebody inherited the building, something like that. The state criteria is hanging on that building as long as that money's owed.
Right.
Okay.
And the rent stays in the low to moderate income level. But I don't have that actual value right in front of me.
But the
it is-
criteria is low and mod.
Yes,
Has to live in the apartment as long as the money's on that building.
right.
Okay. Councilor Shin?
I don't know if I'm not stressing my views on this, but what I am concerned with is taking town money, fixing an apartment that is presently being lived in by the owners. I'm assuming it's a two-family apartment too, because it's not telling us this.
It's a low mod that's in there now. Correct? That's the
Correct. It's
criteria
low,
for the
moderate
loan.
income.
They meet the guidelines for that. I understand that part of it. So the people that are there presently meet the guidelines that are set by the community, set by your office.
The state.
My concern is...
Set by the state,
Right.
not by our office.
So my concern is, once those, if the family member passes away, the family member moves out of the country, the apartment becomes vacant. And then they decide to rent it out instead of having a family member live there and not pay rent. That's my concern.
It's still under the state regulation that's hanging on the money of low mod. They will not be able to up it and say, I want $2,500 rent, because there's a stipulation in the money when it's given that stipulation goes with. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, you're
I don't know what
correct
the
in
low mod
saying-
number is, but that's all I want to know is, because I know I agree with what he's saying, that here's the criteria, low mod. I'm giving you the money, do the building. All of a sudden, the gentleman changes the agreement. I don't want to make it low mod anymore. You have to call in the note. Fair?
Right.
But I want to know what that low mod number is. Is it 30% of the median income based in central Massachusetts? Do you know what that number is? I believe it's like $60,000 or
It's not the rent that's $60,000.
It's
It's
the
low and
income that the
moderate
person-
income of the people that applied
Correct.
for and got the loan. But the rent, value of the rent, I can't tell you what that is, and it might change over time because they're allowed to set a rent rate and then increase it over time.
It's hard to read, and it's based on family, right? If you're single versus a family of 2, 3, 4, the numbers start at, sorry. Well, you can come to our office tomorrow and we can give you these numbers exactly, but if I'm seeing them at a quick glance, it starts at like 26.2 for the 30%. So 26,200 is at 30% of median income, and then it goes up to 29,950, 33700, 37400, 40,000 would be 40,004 would be the 30.
He's asking for the rent, though.
No, I thought he was asking for what's the actual amount of the, how much does someone make at 30%
The
LMI?
rent is based on where I live, or I should say where I live. Which the Housing Authority, I believe, sets the rent here in Southbridge for Section 8 vouchers, housing at 80 Marcy Street, housing down the AO. I believe a single-bedroom apartment for low income or low to moderate income, that they set the rent like at $1,450. The person that's going to rent that is not going to pay any more than 30% of their income.
So then those are different programs than ours. We set, first you walk in the door, you become income eligible to qualify for housing rehab of your home. You have to be a property owner. So income eligible is someone who makes 80% or less of the median income according to the Worcester County numbers. And so we could come into our office and we could show you what those are. Then, once your property is in this deferred payment loan program, if you have a tenant, you are not allowed to rent to them for more than what's called the fair market value for the rental. So it's sort of two separate numbers going on there. And they sign on that, yes, they will only charge fair market value for that rental, and they will stay within the property. If they leave, then what Sue was saying is at that point, they have to pay back the loan. They're no longer eligible. We don't want opportunists taking whatever that equity is we're building into their home and walking away with it or making rent, elsewhere. So we try to make sure it's fair.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Councilor Dow?
Thank you, Chair, to you. It's that loan, how many years to be waived or for life?
The loan is a 15-year forgivable loan, so each year, 1/15 of the loan is forgiven. And at the end of 15 years, or the time that the residents turn 80, the loan is forgiven.
Okay, we will help the community to fix the houses and all that. Something I'm not getting it. You come into the town and you ask for help. And I believe the citizen and the residents, they have a right to know where the money going, why we're gonna keep it privacy. If I come here for a loan, my name should come up, say, I need the money for a loan to rehab my house. I don't think it's fair to do a lot of things under the tables, not let the citizen go what's going on or who's doing it or who's not. I think everybody here have a right to know because that's everybody's money. It's not mine, it's not yours. That's everybody pay tax, I believe. That's their money. They should know where they're going. I don't know why we're going to keep it privacy or how long. I don't see it.
We keep it private because that's the requirement of the funding agency.
I don't think that's
state
that's not a state requirement to keep the person's name and the address privacy. That's something you guys decide to do, I believe.
No, it's part of the requirements from the state for the housing rehabilitation program because it is considered sensitive information because of income level.
Can you send me that later? Thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? 3 opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Moving on to 16. Vote to approve an extension to the Complete Street Tier 2 Prioritization Plan Grant to December 31st, 2025, and allow the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
Second.
The motion is second. Discussion. Council.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I didn't receive any information on this. Maybe something could have been included in the packet, or is this, I'm sorry, just didn't receive any information on this one.
I'll defer to
Peg?
We got an email last week after subcommittee, after Thursday midday with the state and our engineer talking back and forth. Our engineer took it upon themselves to ask the state, hey, could we get an extension on this grant? And they said, sure, let's get it going as quick as possible so that it's before the end of the fiscal year. I bounced it to Jack as quick as possible to see if we could bring it to the town council, hoping that it was non-controversial.
Any other discussion? Council Dow?
I wasn't there when the study was on Center Street parking. When the town did the study, isn't it was included all downtown?
This is a new grant that's looking at all streets in town to improve, to decrease fatalities and reduce the number of injuries wherever the town thinks is most important. It's working on it right now as we speak. They came to the town, the last town council meeting, and tried to present what I was hoping was the prioritization plan. We're now looking to June 5th as a first public engagement meeting with the town council. June 5th at 6 p.m. To follow at 7 p.m. will be another meeting that I'd love the town council to be at. At that time, they will highlight all the different intersections they think are the first most obvious priority for the town.
Council Kelly?
Are we on 16 or
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you.
June 5.
What is the current deadline?
The current deadline, so this is a tricky one. It's a Safe Streets for All grant and a Complete Streets. I think I'd mentioned this in the last meeting. I was trying to do my best to try to avoid local funds, and so I came at this in a little different way. I convinced the federal government to let us use the state's local money, and so they've matched each other. Normally there would be local funds involved, and they have two different deadlines. So we were working off the Safe Streets deadline, which we have until the fall for, but the Complete Streets was ending in June.
So I guess this is basically a 4-month extension on the program, okay?
And in my personal opinion, the more community input we can get, the more community engagement we can get, the stronger these documents are, obviously, right? We don't want to turn around and say, hey, you forgot my intersection, or, oh, you know, these people weren't heard. And so we're offering, you know, as much opportunity for, like, this June 5 meeting for people to come in, town council specifically, to hear all of these ideas, and that will be the first of a few engagements.
Any other discussion? Council?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know why all that couldn't have been included in the packet. I mean, I don't really remember what the Complete Street Tier 2 presentation was all about. And to have these public forums, that could have been included. I don't have a problem with this. I'd be happy to support it. I just think it should have been included in the packet.
Council, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
McDean?
Yes, I apologize for not getting it in there. I've been taking a public procurement course over the last, I did it through the weekend, thank you, but I had been doing it since Thursday. I was lucky to even pick up on that email and get it over to the town manager to squeak it in there. So I understand if it seems like it was poor planning, and I apologize, but I thank you if you're willing to consider it.
I got a question.
Yes.
This grant has already been approved and accepted.
Correct.
We're just extending it.
Correct.
So why would you need all that stuff back in the packet twice?
I would love that too, but because you're signing a contract, I don't know if it's covered under, and allow the town manager to sign all related paperwork, and so I want to go above and beyond to cover myself.
But it has been approved by this council.
Correct.
Thank you. Any other discussion? No further discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote, President. Moving on to 17, vote to apply for the Mass Downtown Initiative, MDI, grant to complete a parking study in the downtown and allow the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion by Senior, seconded by Dow. Discussion. Councilor Daniels?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, the P&D Subcommittee voted unanimously to move this forward.
Councilor Marquetti?
I just want to say I listened to the meeting, and I thought it was a pretty good discussion on this one, and I thought the town manager had some pretty good points about, and the council chair as well, about parking downtown and who's going to park down there. And I thought maybe you'd like to speak about that. You don't have to, but I thought it was a pretty good discussion.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote, President. Moving on to 18, vote to approve an extension to the CDBG FY 22-23 grant to December 31st, 2025, and allow the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion by Shinya, seconded by Ortiz. Again, this has been voted by the town, and this is strictly an extension of what's been approved. Any further discussion? Council Marquetti.
What the question I have is, why isn't it being used? We keep extending these all the time. Why aren't they being used? Especially after what was said tonight, some of that funding could be used.
I'll comment on that, but I personally think, and maybe we need to put some information out there, how much is on the table, how much is in the chute, and how many projects we took on. When the council was sitting on their hands a few years ago, all of a sudden this council and maybe 5 councils before were on fire to do this, do that. Peg Dean, go, 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 go. In some of these cases, you don't want to lose the grant money. And we put too much on our plate, I'll be honest with you. That's what I think the problem is, that we keep expecting it, it keeps happening, and the townspeople see it. Something's happening in Southbridge that hasn't happened before. And I think what it is we're moving at such a pace that even when the DPW director abruptly left, there was so much in the chute at that point, and it came to a halt. So what do? We get back on our horse and we ride and we give extensions and we do whatever it takes to make it happen. And if I can just say, Peg, just keep doing what you're doing, and maybe we can get all of it done quicker. And if not, I'll extend it again next year. Any other discussion by council? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote, present. Moving on to 19, vote to accept the National Grid Municipal Energy Management Grant for $39,144 per year, and for the 2025, 2026, 2027, and allow the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
I'll move.
Second.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Montague. Discussion. Councilor Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, the P&D Subcommittee voted unanimously to move this forward.
It's unanimous at subcommittee. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 20, vote to approve a contract extension for a MassWorks grant to complete River Crane Street Phase 1 by December 31st, 2025.
So moved.
There's a motion by Dow, seconded by Shinya. Discussion? Council Daniels?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, P&D Subcommittee voted to move this forward unanimously.
Any further discussion? Council Montague?
Thank you very much. Just glancing over this, Peg, I think this might be your last item of the night. I could be wrong, but thank you so much for all that you and your office do. I think you are on overload, but your energy is providing us with the energy to get through a very long agenda tonight, and thank you both. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 21, vote to approve the transfer of $50,000 from account 60044 0-58300-89500 sewer capital reserve to account number 600-440-529100-5 sewer solid waste collection.
I move. Second.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Shinya. Discussion.
Mr. Chair, this is unanimously approved by the subcommittee.
Unanimous at subcommittee. Discussion. Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I did listen to the meeting, and I just had a few questions. What sludge are you talking about, and where is it coming from?
It's the remaining items that have been through the whole processing, that the ultimate end product that we have to dispose of through a landfill. So Casella previously would have that as part of their original contract. When we did the new contract, that was something we didn't budget into the sewer enterprise fund.
So this is leachate?
It's not, no, it's not leachate. It's the sludge remaining So we put items between, I'd have to get a better item from Jacobs probably, but this is the end product that can't be
Digested by the system.
by the system, right. Has been the composting process we use, and this is the ultimate end that we have to dispose of.
So I know that we were supposed to be getting gas to energy money from the landfill, $150,000 a year, which was what we were told back in the day when they were negotiating this. Does anybody know how much we're receiving from that now? And could that be used to fund this?
Well, no, because this is the ultimate end of wastewater treatment plant products. So this is all manufactured by our wastewater treatment plant. So this would be an expense out of that enterprise fund. We could take a look at what the gas byproduct is out of the landfill and see where that money's going within it may be another receipt, but I'll double check where that is.
But I mean, we're paying Casella $50,000 to bring this to the wastewater treatment plant?
No, they take it from the wastewater treatment plant and dispose of it in a landfill.
Oh, I see, okay.
So that's the end of the product at the wastewater treatment plant, and we dispose of it. And it costs about $7,000 per trip. We're trying to manage as little trips as possible, so they wait till they get to the point to have the largest load take that off.
All right, thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Vote to approve the transfer of $15,000 from account 60040-583000-89500 sewer capital reserve to account 600-440-58300-25583 tech support capital.
So moved.
Motion by Dow, do I have a second by Ortiz? Thank you for stepping up, Mr. Ortiz.
You're welcome.
There's a motion and a second, discussion. Councilor.
This was approved unanimously by the subcommittee.
Thank you, I'm sorry, Judge. Go ahead, Councilor Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just wondering why this wasn't funded.
We intentionally did not fund 3 capital accounts when we went out for the new contract operator. We had zeroed and transferred, we had the large item in reserve, so when the new contractor came in, we would reallocate whenever it was needed. So this is for the utility cloud that they use for all their asset management right now.
Okay.
So it's built into the next year's budget of the adequate numbers for next year, but we just did not put a placeholder in for any of that so that we could manage what was being spent by Veolia before we got the new operator.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 23, vote to appropriate the transfer of $20,000 from Sewer Capital Reserve 600-440-89500 Sewer Solid Waste Collection, account number 600-440-520300 Sewer Collection System.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Do I have discussion?
Chair, this was unanimously approved by the DPW subcommittee.
Unanimous at subcommittee. Discussion.
I'll just state.
Town manager?
Right now, we're showing that account in the negative. We are just transferring it's negative $18,378 right now. We're transferring $20,000 out of the reserve to that to make that a positive. But we do believe there's an encumbrance that's in that account that was for the former generator that used to be on South Street. And there was a number of dollar amounts that were encumbered for the entire year. But because we have our own there now, we just have to liquidate that. So this money may not be needed. It would then just go out to retained earnings at the end of the year. It's just to make sure that we have adequate funds so we can balance the book at the end of the year. But once we liquidate that encumbrance, we may end up not even using this $20,000. Does that answer your question?
I was going to ask why it says unanticipated and may be discovered. It just seemed a little loose there, like, why don't you just take my wallet and empty it out and say, hey, we're going to take all this money and use it, maybe we won't use it.
I will say the new operator has been great to work with, very responsive, really watching all the accounts. This was just for us to be able to make sure and I watch my wallet just as much as you do, because I do pay the rates as well.
I watch mine too, but it's empty.
Don't bother watching it. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. It's a long one, councilors, we're almost there. Number 24, vote to reauthorize the leased properties revolving fund under the provision of the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, to pay repairs, improvements, expenses, and utilities for all town-owned leased properties from the lease payment to be deposited in the amount, with all expenditures to be approved by the town manager, and the total expenditures from the account not to exceed $100,000 per year.
So moved.
Second.
Here's a motion and second. Discussion. Council Rivas.
Just a question about what is the amount in the account currently?
Like last time I saw it was 158,000.
Thank you.
All these are the reauthorizations that we normally do with the budget meeting. I'm getting a jump on these so that we can just do the budget at the special town council meeting.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Number 25, vote to reauthorize the Southbridge Airport leased properties revolving fund under the provisions of the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, to pay repairs, improvements, expenses, and utilities for the leased property at the Southbridge Municipal Airport from the leased payment to be deposited in the account, with all expenditures to be approved by the town manager and total expenditures from the account not to exceed $300,000 per year.
So moved.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Shinya. Discussion. Council.
Same question.
I can get accurate numbers for you because normally this is just a housekeeping.
Okay.
I think as of the last report that I have, again, it changes monthly because not all the revenue has been posted. It was approximately $69,000. And again, $88,000 of that has been earmarked for that grant. So it runs normally over month, or approximately anywhere between $95,000 to $110,000.
Great. Thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving to 26, vote to reauthorize the demolition of buildings revolving fund under the provisions of the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, to pay expenses associated with the demolition of buildings within the town of Southbridge and any revenue recaptured to be deposited in the account, with all expenditures from the account not to exceed $185,000.
So moved.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Discussion. Not? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 27. Vote to reauthorize the municipal hearing officer revolving fund under the provisions of the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, to pay expenses associated with the administration and collection of fines in the violation of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 148A and Chapter 115 of the Act of 2009, such fines to be deposited in the account with the expenditures to be approved by the town manager and the expenditures from the account not to exceed $2,500.
Second.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Shinya. Discussion. No discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 28. Vote to reauthorize the Southbridge Middle High School Store Revolving Fund under the provisions of the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, to pay expenses associated with the school store for the receipts to be deposited into the account with the expenditures to be approved by the school superintendent and total expenditures from the account not to exceed $30,000 a year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Ortiz. Discussion? If done, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 29, vote to reauthorize the Commercial Loan Revolving Fund under the provisions of the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, to pay expenditures associated with the ARPA commercial loans from the receipts to be deposited into the account with all expenditures to be approved by the Director of Economic Development and total expenditures from the account not to exceed $100,000 per year.
Second.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Shinya. Discussion. Councilor Dow, Shinya, then
Thank you,
Councilor
Chair,
Dow.
through you. Usually we have the town manager sign the fund. Why now we?
We'd have to do a bylaw amendment. That was what was passed in the bylaw by the town council.
Okay, so.
But any
who
contract.
review it, like it's, so she will review and authorize the money was not your supervisor or the manager?
The only expenditures that would come out of that anyway would be another loan, and that would have to be approved by the council.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you, but I thought we did change it the last time this came up. I'm pretty sure that we changed it. We said it should be the town manager.
I'll double check that. Let me just double check what the bylaw says.
I remember talking about it anyway, and it sounded like it should be something that the town manager should approve. You are the chief procurement officer, so. Anyways, I'd like to make that amendment.
Well, no, you have to do the bylaw. You can't amend that.
Isn't there a provision that you can delegate procurement?
Yes.
Yes, he can, but he's still the chief procurement officer. I'd rather feel safer with him taking a look at these things.
Any further discussion, Councilor Dow?
As well, they have to come before of us to final decision. I think we're in the safe to when the town manager figure if the bylaw will change or not. So that's, I thought we're safe and thank you.
Any further discussion? If none, all is in favor? Opposed? One opposed. Motion passes. Moving on to 30. Vote to reauthorize the Senior Citizen Revolving Fund under the provisions of the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, to pay expenditures associated with from the receipts to be deposited into the account with all expenditures to be approved by the town manager and the total expenditures from the account not to exceed $30,000 per year.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion.
No.
You all set?
Yeah.
No further discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Oh, yeah, we got one more here.
Mr. Chair, just maybe a point of order or question. On the next agenda item, reviewing and amending the zoning bylaw, accessory dwelling units, this was referred back to the committee. So this isn't a first reading, correct? This would be like the second reading?
Mr. Town Manager? I thought this was the first reading.
This is the first reading. You asked us to go back and get legal counsel, refer it for a public hearing, which we did the public hearing.
Correct.
As a result of the public hearing, this is the request for the bylaw, so this would be the first
But I
reading.
thought we took a vote to send it back. I thought we did the whole process.
We did not do the reading, so we didn't do any readings.
No.
It was a different one.
Right.
Because the first step would be to have a public hearing.
Right, we had a joint meeting of the DPW, I mean, the.
Planning
council
board,
and the
we-
planning
that's the
board.
hearing.
Right, that was the public hearing. This was what came out of the
Okay,
public
I
hearing. Now
understand,
this is
yeah.
the first reading
Right.
of the bylaw as amended based on the public hearings.
Moving on to agenda item 31, review amending the Southbridge zoning bylaws. At this time, I recognize the Vice Chairman. Mr. Vice Chairman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 8.10 accessory dwelling units. 8.10.1 Massachusetts State Regulations. Accessory dwelling units shall be allowed in compliance with 760 CMR 71.00 as from time to time amended. 8.10.2 Use Schedule. As per MGL Chapter 40A, Section 1A, an accessory dwelling unit, ADU, is defined as a self-contained housing unit inclusive of sleeping, cooking, and sanitary facilities on the same lot as a principal dwelling, subject to otherwise applicable dimensional and parking requirements that, 1, maintains a separate entrance, either directly from the outside or through an entry hall or corridor shared with the principal dwelling sufficient to meet the requirements of the State Building Code for safe egress. 2, is not larger in gross floor area than half the gross floor area of the principal dwelling or 900 square feet, whichever is smaller. And 3, is subject to such additional restrictions as may be imposed by a municipality, including but not limited to additional size restrictions and restrictions or prohibitions on short-term rental as defined in Mass General Law, Chapter 64G, Section 1. ADUs are allowed as a matter of right in any zoning district where single-family residential dwellings are permitted as an allowable use, including any zoning district where single-family residential dwellings are allowed as of right or by special permit subject to the requirements of this section. Only one ADU is allowed as a matter of right on any property. Additional ADUs may be only allowed with the issuance of a special permit by the planning board pursuant to section 2.5 of the zoning bylaw. ADUs may not be used as short-term rentals as such term is defined in GLC 64G section 1 or otherwise rented for a period shorter than 31 days unless approved by special permit. 8.10.3 Dimensional requirements. An ADU may be no larger in gross floor area than 1/2 of the gross floor area of the principal dwelling unit on the property or 900 square feet, whichever is less. ADUs shall comply with any and all lot area frontage, setback height, and lot coverage requirements as may be applicable to single-family homes or accessory structures as contained in Table 2 in Section 5.1 of the zoning bylaw. The requirements for a given ADU shall comply with whichever are more generous in a given district, single-family homes or accessory structures standards. 8.10.4 Parking. One off-street parking space must be provided for all ADUs not located within 1/2 of a mile of a transit station. Parking may be in a driveway or a garage. 8.10.5 Site plan approval. All ADU applicants are required to provide a site plan to the building department. Pursuant to the procedures in Section 2.6 of this zoning bylaw, the building department may recommend an application to planning board for site plan review. Planning board site plan review criteria shall be limited to the following. 1, recommendations that the ADU minimize tree, vegetation, soil removal, and grade changes. 2, recommendations that the architectural style be compatible with the existing principal dwelling on the subject property. 3, the ADU shall be serviced with adequate water supply and sewer or septic service. 4, the plan shall demonstrate adequate parking as required hereunder. The planning board may request reasonable plan modifications of the site plan for an ADU and may impose reasonable conditions that are not inconsistent with this bylaw or the provisions of GL Chapter 40A, Section 3. 8.10.6 Relationship to nonconformities. If ADU is proposed for a pre-existing nonconforming primary residence, the requirements of Section 6 of the zoning bylaw shall apply provided that no special permit may impose conditions on an ADU in this case. There's a table here. Point of clarification, should we read the table?
No.
No? Okay. Then this is the first reading, May 19th, 2025.
We consider that first reading. If we'll have a second meeting, and then there'll be a third reading. I would hope that the councils would amend it in the third reading, so we would have everybody at one time instead of picking at it for a second meeting. Any further discussion? Thank you. Moving on to Council's Forum. Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I was struck by the number of people that came out tonight to discuss this issue up on Therese Avenue. And I think we all need to really sit down and talk about this and come up with some kind of way to address it. It is a heartbreaking problem. It is, in my view, a heartless act by the new owner to raise rents to the extent that they have. And I have a lot of legal questions about what they're doing up there. I think we need to get those answered. Look, I mean, housing is an issue all around the country, particularly a problem in the Northeast here, in Massachusetts particularly. It's not only this country, around the world, especially in developed countries, it's becoming a problem. Ireland has a problem with it. Spain's having a problem with it. There was a big protest on the Canary Islands today mostly about the fact that there's too much tourism and it's driving the local residents out. They can't afford to live in the places that they grew up anymore. We're seeing that here in Massachusetts. A lot of kids grow up and the dream of home ownership is simply not available to them because they can't afford to buy a $500,000 home, and that's coming out to the west. If you go towards Boston, you're looking at $1 million plus for just a regular single-family home on a small lot. It's clearly ridiculous, but we need to address the immediate problem here. These people deserve a solution, and I'm hopeful that we can all come together and try to put all our heads together and figure this out. Thank you.
Councilor Rivas.
Thank you, through you. I was not surprised that this was coming down the pike. We had conversations prior in the fall when a resident came in and talked about white paper strategies, purchasing property, developing in the downtown area, that this happened to residents in their properties at that time, residents with disabilities, that their rents went up, and other residents that this has been happening to all along. And at that time, we had heard about the first developer who bought the apartments at TAG, and listening to residents having these issues and having the rent go up 300, and it was only a matter of time where it was coming to this point. There are many things in the State House that are being debated and talked about, a couple of different bills that address these specific issues and allow for local municipal control over rent stabilization. And I encourage the other councilors to look at that. And certainly this issue today is an emergency situation because residents need relief right away. But I think in order to prevent this from happening more and more residents in the future, we will need to advocate throughout the legislature to get some of this local control so that we can address these issues locally. We need to take care of our residents, especially our elders who have been working their whole lives to give back to this community. And there are options around charging transfer fees so we can create a trust, a housing trust. And I look forward to the Economic Development Department and Planning Department housing production plan that's going to come before the planning board and then before this council that has many, many of these suggestions that Mr. Adams talked about tonight and other different solutions that were talked about and put together by the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission when we went out and did the listening sessions with residents, with elders at the community center, and put all of these different solutions into one document. There was extensive surveying done. There was extensive research done by the Central Mass Regional Planning staff and by our staff here in town. And I think these are some things that we're going to have to look at and think about implementing for the long run, so we don't keep having people coming in that it becomes an emergency, that they're not able to pay these rents. And again, it is unfair. It is something that people don't deserve that in our community. And so we have to look at this and we have to work together. But we also have to advocate at the state level so that we can have some local control to help alleviate this situation. I also want to mention Beautify Southbridge and the great job, all of the volunteers. I do want to say something. We were on 600 block, and a couple of us have done this event multiple years, and I want to say that that area has improved as far as the trash in that area. 2 years ago, there was much more extensive trash in that area, and I'm pleased to say that it took us half the time from when we were there a couple of years ago. And I also want to say that this weekend I went to the Stars of the Future and the Bridge to Hope Recovery Center. They had an event for families, and I hope to continue supporting that program, and I encourage other counselors to attend some of their programs that they provide for families and for students in our community. Thank you.
Are you all set?
Yeah, I'm all set.
Councilor Ortiz?
No, nothing.
Thank you. Councilor Senior?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, I just want to thank the citizens for coming out today to council's meeting to stress the frustrations that they're having with their rents and food on the tables. I do want to apologize to Councilor Rivas. I haven't got back to her yet on the question that she had to pose to me, and it's not that I forgot. I've been gone, and I kind of forgot about what was going on in the world for a week. Today, the council, the Senior Citizens Committee, Association Committee, had a kind of a question and answer for the candidates that are running for council, and I feel it was a great success. All the candidates had great answers for the questions and the concerns that were brought to them. I just want to remind people that this Thursday night here in the council chambers, there is going to be a form of a question and answer debate taking place with the council, and I urge all the people to come forward and listen to this, ask the questions. We have 4 well-qualified candidates that are running, and just please come out and vote. If you don't ask, you don't vote, nobody to blame but yourself, and thank you.
Councilor Dow?
Thank you, Chair, through you. I want to say thank you too to this elderly came tonight. It touched my heart. I feel very sad how the governor, the state or the Fed, they can help young guys, young women sitting home, giving them housing, giving them food for free, ABT, and they can work in the country struggling to find help employee-wise businesses, and they give the people, I mean, I'm nobody to say what I'm going to say now, but I think those young guys, the system have to try to look again and visit their houses, see how they live, if they really need help or not, and looking at the elderly, the one that really need help, we're not helping them. Another thing I want to say, that's kind of like a little joke. Mr. Town Manager, thank you. You was very nice to Councilor George tonight, the way you answered him back on one of the agenda. Councilor Markari, we're going to miss you. Who's going to be poking everybody here, like asking a lot of questions, and I'm all set. Thank you.
Councilor Daniels?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. it was indeed heartbreaking to hear what our senior citizens had to say tonight. These are the younger brothers and sisters of the greatest generation, and they're not ones to complain. They're not ones to come out and publicly air their laundry, as it were, as some people did. It was heart-wrenching. I know that I've got some ideas in terms of maybe where we can go a little bit. I'm going to make some phone calls as well. I think we're all in that position where we're going to, do what we can do individually and then come together and see what we can come up with for solutions, at least temporary, if not permanent. I want to thank the people that came forward tonight for being here. I know it took a lot out of them, and thank you just doesn't cover it, but thank you. That's all I have.
Councilor Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't really have too much to say. The only thing I just want to comment on is that it doesn't really help too much when we pit one group against another group. We're going after young immigrants versus old people who have lived here their whole life. That never seems to work. We're always fighting with each other, and when the real culprits seem to be the ones that get off scot-free. So just keep that in mind, and I look forward to seeing what we can do, what the council can do. I probably won't be here by the time you get around to doing something about it, but I think Councilor Daniel has a good idea with the CDBG funds, and I think that's probably the direction you should go. So, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilor Montague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, this subject tonight is really, really depressing to watch. Last week, I was at the Senior Center talking about it with State Representative Marcy. I know he was in contact with Chairman Lazo, and just this morning at the coffee with the candidates, there was a discussion about that beforehand and during as well, and it's just terrible. I know some of the residents there from always going to visit my grandmother. She passed away 2 years ago, but rent was $600 a month back then. So when people talk about 14, 16, 1800, it just doesn't make any sense in my head. I've done a little bit of research. There's not much, that a board like this can do, but we can totally be looking in and asking all these legal questions, as Councilor Kelly alluded to. If you have ever had a sale that has anything to do with housing and urban development and Chapter 667, there are restrictions that get passed over from owner to owner and they stay with the land. And I think we need to really look into that to see if there was ever some sort of HUD money used for anything in the last 30, 40 years. I couldn't find an exact year, but it looks like these limitations last for about 40 years. So to whoever is responsible for doing this to these people, you should be ashamed of yourself. I don't know how you can sleep at night, and there might not be a law that you're breaking, but whoever's watching us is certainly going to remember what you're doing to them. So thank you very much to everybody who came out tonight, and God bless all of them.
Moving on to agenda item number 33, the discussion of the next meeting dates. Mr. Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Special Town Council meeting is Thursday, May 29th, 2025 at 7 p.m. for the budget, and then the regularly scheduled meeting is Monday, June 2nd, 2025 at 7 p.m.
We have a motion to adjourn. I have a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote, President. Motion adjourned.